are watching the Blueprint Radio Show with DJ Miss Hennessy.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very exciting interview right here on Miss Hennessy TV. I'm your host, Maxine Johns, aka Miss Hennessy. This woman needs no introduction. She is not just an incredible peer that I am so grateful and honored to work and walk beside every day, but she's a dear sister friend and just an incredible woman that I'm very honored to know. I think probably for the past 2 decades. We don't look a day over 20, the pair of us. She might pass for 19, but that's just how that goes. But welcoming my beautiful sister to the show, Mirrah. How are you, babe?
Yes, Queen. Very, very good. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. I always remember the time of me coming back to live in Australia after being in the States for some time, and I see you on the red carpet, and you're like, yeah.
Very ghetto moment, but it's okay.
It was awesome because I was like, somebody knows me.
Yeah.
Here I am. I was like 5 foot tall going, I feel 2 foot right now. I don't feel anybody cares who I am. And then Maxine's voice is,
I know.
It's not Miss Hennessy from the plot.
That was such a dope night. I remember that. And that's going back some time, but I remember it was the MTV Music Awards. I can't remember which year it was, but it was like trying to look for a sense of authenticity in a crowd of people that you kind of know why they're there, that they're doing, their thing for show, and then here you were. And I'm going, that's the person everyone needs to be speaking to, because that's authenticity walking down the red carpet. And I was so excited that you remembered me too, because it had been a couple of years since we'd actually initially first met. So it was so dope. I remember that very well. But we don't need to walk down red carpets anymore, honey, to recognize each other.
No, not anymore. The carpet could be wooden floor, it could be cement, it could be outside in the park.
That's it. We got our own red carpets wherever we're going, but you know what? It's always so nice to touch base with you. It's been a minute since you and I last spoke in this particular format, but whenever we do catch up, it's how girlfriends do, man. We can talk forever.
Yes.
I just wanted to touch base with you,
especially when it's a passion and when it's passion for hip hop, or it's passion just as women or empowerment. Hello, your amazing book. So
thank you. Thank you. But you're always making time for projects and just sort of lending your words, your wisdom, your counsel, wherever it's needed. And even if it's not something that's needed, but it's always something that's wanted by so many people, because you've been such a staple within the international hip hop community, because you've worked internationally, you've worked here, you're still working here with sort of obviously switching industries, which we're going to touch on right now, because you're working at something incredibly innovative and fresh and new. But being that this is, the year of the 50th year of, hip hop, the major anniversary of the genre that has brought us together and so many other people, you're a huge advocate for it. And I know it rests and it sits very personally and passionately with all of us. So how are you feeling this year with this incredible anniversary, and what are you hoping to learn and contribute to it?
I love that you've added, what are you willing to learn? Because I feel like it's really important as the next generation, or even fellow adults that may watch this and be like, I don't know what's going on. I'm still learning. And that's the key word. We're always going to still learn. Hip hop is a culture and a community that has a forever pulse.
Yeah.
It evolves every time. Some people may not like the evolvement. Some people may love it. Some people may live in the past and enjoy going back in time of what elements, the 5 elements, but now we have so many more elements to the culture of hip hop, because the involvement of different human beings worldwide, different races, different faiths, different messengers, and it's that thing of, and I'm saying not messengers necessarily in vocal. You have messengers through production, DJs, turntablists, now dancers. There's so many different types of dancing that keeps happening and evolving, and keeps erupting and making such beautiful heat, like it's like volcanic rock, when the world keeps evolving, you've got some heat that's like festering underneath some different culture or land, or and it's a culture that's like yep, and then all of a sudden the explosion happened, and then that's the top heat. And I'm really happy to see the succession with Africans being heard, seen, dances being wanting to be yearned to learn. You watch a lot of hip hop videos now, and then now where we are in our own beautiful land, always was, always will be Aboriginal land. You have the indigenous and the next generation of Aboriginals that are just from every mob that is just translating culture, transforming movements, doing their storytelling, their story time of where they're from and what they feel, and their pain, their yearning, and it's education, and it's moving across the world. And then you got Canada that is just flourishing as well, and really support the indigenous arts and the movements. And it's like there's a movement happening, and it's how to be celebrated as a culture, as a unique individual. And I think that's what is exciting about. It's interesting because is it 50 years or when, obviously everybody has different time zones, so, obviously we're rather elderly in this lovely part of the community, mature, but, but I'm really proud of that, because I met hip hop before it was even called hip hop. Like I was 4 years old, 1978, Venice Beach, California, Los Angeles, watching a pop locker and breakers doing their version of LA vibe. And that straight away instilled to me, I need to be a part of that. Like my pulse was like, yep. I remember taking my skates off, like actual skates. You remember the black ones with the silver wheels?
Yeah.
Those ones, yep. I took them off. I threw them. I just remember throwing them off, and I was like watching these, b-boys just doing their things at the time, and it was so elevating. It was like, I need to be a part of whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then realizing as a woman in the culture as well now, that there's so many different opportunities to be heard as a woman. And unfortunately, there's a lot of sisters of ours that unfortunately have been in negative situations or haven't been treated. They have their personal stories of misconduct.
Yes.
But then there's a lot of sisters like myself where I've been blessed and really resonated a form, an energy that has met so many kings in this game that have respected me, that have given me a path, not even to feel sorry, like, yo, queen, here, and that's at 19 to 20 years of age, giving me opportunities and not giving them to me because I'm a female, giving them to me because they felt my energy, so I think it's one of those things where we have to be, when we're a part of this culture, we have to see everything openly and not privileged. We have to acknowledge, how do I protect my sisters in all different situations?
Absolutely.
And not judge them either.
Yeah.
I think this is the time as women, we need to really protect one another and stop judging, prejudging, just because this sister wants to wear nothing in the sense of what people publicly see.
Absolutely.
But in the sense of we're seen as women, we have to make sure we communicate with that woman. Like, is this a feminist movement? Are
Yeah.
you speaking from a situation where we had to hide ourselves, that we couldn't? And are you educating men that you can be naked, and for them to understand, to still see you not as an
Yeah.
object, but see you as a strong being, and that's your message.
That's
Now
it.
it will come across in different things. We live in a
Absolutely.
world where we have different faiths, we've got different people of
Yeah.
upbringing, but you get a person dressed full
Yeah.
clothed and still be mentally a hoe, still
Yeah.
be hoeing around doing scandalous things. So it
Absolutely.
doesn't matter about clothes. It's how you
Absolutely.
conduct yourself.
And I
So
think I applaud you for bringing that point up, because it has been something that, you know, we have as a collective, as women, have been faced with and have had to deal with for many, many years. And I echo your sentiments in saying that there are different stories, there are different narratives with each woman who's obviously, walked the path of, either having performed within, hip hop circles, worked within it, whether backstage, front of stage, whatever it is. And everybody's stories are different. And I do know for a long time, when I've had my DJ cap on, I've been asked, what's it been like? Because it can be quite misogynistic in that world, and hip hop has had incredible, how can I say, finger pointing towards that misogynistic sort of tone. And even the way, a lot of the music videos were shot back in the day, and how women are portrayed in that. But I have to echo your sentiments there, that I've never really come up against that with the male, counterparts here in this industry here. So I've always had the respect, and it's been given and shown, and doors opened, and there's always been enough room for all of us to kind of stand on stage. But I think it also comes down to your energy, and to how you carry yourself, how you give light and love, and that sort of transferal. But like yourself, I do lend the ear to, well, I understand that your story may not have been in that fashion, and you need to tell it when you're ready. But the breaking down of or the tearing down of women, it's almost like it's been its own epidemic within this industry. So many
yeah, it
ways.
is an epidemic, and it's also systemic,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because
Yeah.
it's like there can only be one. It's like,
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Yeah.
And, no, we're not living in no ice age anymore. There's
No.
more than one.
Yeah.
Let's allow this to be a big community, and
Yeah.
pass the torch, or even shine the
Yeah.
torch.
Yeah.
Even if you want to hold on to that torch, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But at least shine on the other
Shine it.
people while
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Shining like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to see yourself, or you want to see who's around you, type of thing.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the important thing, and that's what I love being on tour, because when you're on tour, you get to meet the next generation. Be it, when I say, from 2 years of age to 20 plus,
Wow.
to an adult. Like, I'm now meeting wonderful mothers of my age, and I'm proud to say from 40 plus above. And
Yes.
these women are like seeing me doing what I love, and may assume that I'm 20
Yeah.
plus. And then when I let them know, like, no, I'm 49 this year, they look at me like, what, Mirrah? And I'm like, yes. So please don't age yourself.
Yeah.
Don't feel that just because you may be a mom, or just because you've chosen to do whatever you've chosen, you've given up. Don't
Yeah.
give up. And that's the same when I meet young girls from 4 up.
Yeah.
I'm like, ladies, like, keep going. Don't ever
Absolutely.
think that, and that's the beautiful messages I get. So the meet and greets that we have, and then the tour, just to share with y'all, I'm on a tour right now with the 360 Art Stars. It's the urban circus, and I don't mind using the word urban, only because there's
Yes.
actually urban sports.
That's it.
So we actually are utilizing the word correctly.
Thank you.
There's
That's the
actually,
disclaimer.
yes, that disclaimer. There's actually a basketball freestyler. There's a
There we go.
BMX,
There we go.
bike rider, Freelander,
Wow.
so yeah, so then we obviously have breakers, So two B-boys, and then, but we definitely have the celebration and the culture of hip hop within it.
That's
So that is, so I am a part of the cast of Australia. We have amazing other male counterparts and cast members that have blazed the trail of this position. And so I'm very honored to be in the position of being a part of them as
wow.
cast members. So I'm
So what are
represented as
you?
the only woman
Oh
on the
wow.
tour.
So what
Yeah,
are
so
you
there's
actually doing?
7
Like,
members.
are you part of
I
the?
am rap. I'm a rapper, so I'm rhyming. I'm the ringleader. I'm looping, using the loop machine, and sharing that moment with the director, creator, producer,
Wow.
keyboardist, rapper. That's one person that's done all that.
Oh my God.
His name's Gene Peterson, and Gene Peterson actually came up with it, the idea, but he grew up loving hip hop
Mm,
and acknowledging the movement of the sound, the actual circular vibe, like, that happens, when you're doing a sport. What do you listen to? His tribe, sports, hip hop. When you listen to like anything, and you're just with the friends and you're ciphering, what did they do? They rap together. Like,
wow.
he's been playing instruments as a pianist and a drummer for years, and he headhunted basically everybody in this cast. um I was privileged to be hunted 10 years prior, but I was working with El First the Lion as his
Right.
hype man, and we were in deep tours. So I politely canceled,
Mm,
and then COVID turned up,
yeah.
and then he politely um, went to management again and was like, "Hey, we've got tours coming up. We would love to have Mirrah. Would you be interested?" And it was a good time for me
Yeah.
because, and I feel this is really important to women and all sexes, because of age
Yeah.
and because depression exists, anxiety exists. I'm more on the spectrum of anxiety. I never had it before. And then throughout my adult years, I started getting it. And the anxiety and the depression entered during COVID. And it was a downfall of, I'm not good enough. I'm older. The cadence has changed, like, respectfully, it's like it's drill or it's this and that, and I'm like, I'm hip hop soul, or my lyrical content is consciousness, and I speak poetically, and at one time I got stuck in my head that I'm not a part of any tribe, or I'm in the wrong country. um Basically making, well, my inner demon making uh terrible assumptions for myself to
Yes.
believe. And when this opportunity came up, it was a beautiful thing. So I don't know if you know this, Ms. Emily, but I have 5 personalities, and
Mm,
I know them. And
mm.
I always have ever since I was a kid. So I'll let you know. I'll name them, and I know them because they're my strengths. They're my best
Right.
friends. So Mirrah came much later. This
Okay.
is like an evolvement,
Wow.
the mature, the authentic, and
Yeah.
owning up to who I am, owning up to like me.
Mm, that's important.
Huge part.
Yeah.
Yes. So um, Shorty came in because that's when I first met hip hop. The pop lockers call me Shorty. Number one, it's a female word of like endearment, especially because I was short. I was 4 years old, but it just became a name, and I started using it.
Right.
But then Tommy was also introduced, and Tommy is because I was such a tomboy.
Yeah.
So, and then Mirrah evolved. And then when I moved to the States, I was working with Temple of Hip Hop teacher, KRS-One,
Yes.
Malik One, Miguel. We used to do radio, and we do a lot of circuits
Yeah.
to present an assist presenting teacher for certain places to share his amazing profound speeches at schools, educated talks. But yeah, and so I was known as Rez, which was R-E-Z or R-E-Z. And that was abbreviation for resonance.
Right.
So resonance was more very finding the consciousness.
Yeah.
I also have been learning about just the sidebar, like learning about being Muslim.
Right.
And that was something about me learning myself. So I always wore black. I always had a head wrap that was like the height of Marge Simpson's hair.
What?
So yeah, it was crazy. Like, yeah, I was more, I don't like the word militant, but I was my poise was very, very strong, like extremely very strong.
Yeah.
And then I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all the people, but now it's beautiful because Mirrah has like evolving, and Mirrah stands for my image reflects and resonates above heights, which is always remembering like is whatever downfall you may have had in your past, be it mistakes, challenges, like don't worry about it because you're gonna rise above it. You're gonna be resilient and also have ownership to your shit.
Yeah.
Like don't dislike your shit. Like kind of take it like, you know what I mean? Like kind of go, oh yeah, that was bad, or oh no, that was good. Okay, I can be better. How do I be better? And kind of really evolving. So I'm really loving Mirrah. That's why I use it now as my artist name and as my name. Like I like when I hear a supporter see me in the street and yell my name out, because I'm like, word, like, you know me? Like, wow, you took consideration to actually know me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love
That's
that.
what's
like,
up. That's what's up. You know, just listening to you, obviously, you know, talk about, you know, what life was like for you as a creative during lockdown. You know, I've spoken to quite a few people post lockdown, and so many of us were plagued with a lot of those thoughts that we aren't enough, or you know, what's going to happen after this, you know. The word anxiety is something that I've had to accept as being a part of me now, and I've again living in that utter truth of, you know, this is me, and this is 47, and I'm proud of that, but it's still a journey to accept that the loss of who I was as a creative maybe 10 years ago to the evolution of, you know, the next phase. And I think this is where we're at now. And it's speaking openly about these things. I know you've told me before about performance anxiety, and I was shocked to know that you had that, because you do not resonate that. You don't, and if people know you, and I like to think that I know you, I didn't know that, because it's just not something that I would ever have thought that you would have been dealing with. But anxiety is a silent striker, and it's something that makes you feel like you've got to deal with it really inwardly.
But I think it makes everybody human. I think it allows
does.
people to realize that.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, what I've been learning about kings and queens and acknowledging emperors and emperors, like, the reason why you're a powerful person is because you have such a passion to take over whatever you aim to take over. Now, I'm not talking about harming anybody. I'm talking about claiming your purpose.
That's it.
And majority of us that are claiming a purpose, you're going to have a mental health.
Yeah.
Because you are so much your best friend and worst enemy, because you're aiming to be the best of you. I feel that the importance of it now is, how do we train the dragon? How do we acknowledge that, okay, this is my power. Now I need to learn to control that other power. to not take over me. So
That's it.
like learning meditation, yoga, or breathing exercise. Some do
Yeah.
prayer, some do your own what's the word? Your own form of prayer. If it's like a gratitude thought, or
Yeah.
like, and it's how you surround yourself to protect yourself and make your own boundary, so you don't expel like unnecessary energies that will just keep making you fault, like, or feel that you're faulting.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud of myself that I've evolved from that, or I still do every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what keeps me going, like knowing that hip hop, like I know a lot of hip hoppers that may watch this, and if I didn't have hip hop, I wouldn't be alive. Like, that's facts.
Right.
Like, hip hop saves my life, and I know that could be echoed to so many people. Like, yeah, I think about it all the time. Like, I watched when I called you crying,
Yes.
we watched the Grammys, and
Yes.
I was crying
You
because
were.
like
Yes.
it was it was so passionate for me, because they're people that I grew up to.
Absolutely, man.
And obviously we didn't have all the people we grew up to that are leaders, or people call
That's it.
pioneers or leaders in the game, but like it was interesting. I follow MC Debbie D, from the when she sang from New York City Breakers, the Us Girl Boogie Too. And I said to her on the Instagram, I was like, you don't understand, like, I sing that. That's like my mojo, that's my motto. Like, I'll have it in my head, and I'll have a geek moment even before a performance. I'm like, us girls, what? Boogie too. We can dance, we can shake it. What? Let's go break it. I'm like, it's about to go down. And it gets me
Exactly.
so G'd up, because it's so important to know that who resonated different paths for people. Like, yeah, it's so amazing to know that I started as a hip hopper, B-girl, 1970, what I say, 78,
Yeah.
to then evolve to performing on stage with PE as a freestyle vibe with Public Enemy 1989, to then late 90s, like 96, for Fear the Black Planet, and having that as a leader to me to share, you have something special, shorty, you need to do this.
Right.
And I didn't know what he meant by that. And speaking of Flav, like, I didn't know what that meant. And he's like, you got a voice, you got energy, you have something to give, you need to do it. And when you have peers as such as that, and then luckily other people that I don't want to say, but just luckily who happen to be huge monumental individuals that have been in the game. And again, men who have not wanted to be with me, that have respected me, that we've had deep, dope hip hop conversation or life conversations, and that have allowed me to learn better for myself. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing, because when you look at what may say 50 years respectfully of hip hop, and 50 plus more,
oh man,
it's so amazing, the entrepreneurship that has come from an idea of individual brains that always still to this day are coming up with new things.
I know. It's hip hop is the gift that keeps on giving, and I'll always say that. It's as much as people have over the years always tried to misunderstand it, it's a genre that will always stand firm in its resolve to be understood by those who dare enough to understand it. And I think we can see just how many people do understand it, and just how many people care enough to fight for it every single day. You and I are definitely a part of that. And, I think, I always say, whenever I talk to you, there's so many layers to who you are, and to what you've learned, and to what you've achieved within this industry, within this genre, internationally. but yet you're always open to wanting to help the next person, help
You
the
have
next
to.
person learn, right? Even though you know what you know. And I think this, again, is very pivotal to what you said before when we were talking about that, women sort of, instead of tearing each other down, let's build each other up. There does seem to be this sort of stigma around, well, I'm the first person who's done this, so I'm the only one who knows. And it's kind of like holding on to a baton in a race, and you're like, well, no, if we share it, we're only going to become stronger. And sometimes I think that's probably what's maybe held the Australian contingent back for as long as it has. I mean, we're obviously now breaking through.
It's moved now.
It's
It's
moved
breaking
right
through.
past
It's
that.
crazy.
But thank God those artists went, I ain't waiting for nothing. We're all going to move together and let's keep going. And that's where it
Yeah.
is now. But I listen to you
Can you
talking
see,
about,
sorry to
yeah.
interject, do you see how many people of color are rhyming in Australia?
Oh my God, like
Like,
unbelievable.
I
Unbelievable.
cry. I'm such an
Yeah.
empath. I like sit there like as an old person on Instagram crying to this new generation of
I
people. I mean,
know.
Sampa the Great, like,
Oh,
yo,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Then you have this is the boss as well, like who beatboxes
I
and
know.
also has moved into the whole thing of the LGBTQ. Like you like then you have the indigenous. You got Barker, and then you have so many other people
I
like
know.
Tasman Keith.
It's
Like I grew up
crazy.
with Wire. Like I
Yeah.
grew up with YMC, and now to see Tasman Keith reign supreme right now. And then you got Kobe D, and then like it just keeps going and
And
going. And there's so
we
many more names,
we can keep going with
that
that too, in the fact that there are documentaries now that are being filmed, and you're in one of them that's about to be launched on the 30th of March. I mean, it's I was so excited when I watched the trailer and I saw you in it. I was screaming. The kids were like, "Mom, what's wrong?" I said, "Auntie Mirrah's in a documentary." Like
dude, you
just
don't understand when I got
stop.
the phone call to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a whole lot of emotions came through. Like, it really did tear me. Like, it was a moment where I had to like hold back. And then after the phone call, once they asked me and I was on, I just fell apart because I've never been included. Like, I felt I never was included in Sydney hip hop, Australian hip hop. It was just like, yeah, Shorty's around, but whatever. But
See, and
I
it's
never
interesting you.
felt taken seriously,
It's funny you
like
feel like
ever.
that, because I've always seen you as such an integral part, and I've never not seen you as part of the fabric of here, and an integral part of it too. So, but I think all of us feel a little bit like that because we're just
Yeah.
we just get on with it, right? We're doing our part, we're contributing. And I think when projects like this pop up, or even like the book, and writing on
Yes.
empowered women, or writing on the hip hop scene, I guess, from a certain age or a certain date, there'll be certain people that might feel like, well, I wasn't included in that, but it's not because you didn't contribute. It may just have been that particular portion, but you've always been
But
integral to me.
but the reason why I was is because MC Trey was the reason I only was involved.
Yeah.
She opened her wing and was like, yeah, I'ma share the stage with you.
Yeah.
I'ma share my what I give, like, and that was so amazing to me, meeting MC Trey, because Thelms is like mad real. And Thelms was the first person to then enter the youth work and created a whole base and foundation in who she's become now.
Yeah.
To then have all of us eventually down the line. Like, I never thought I was going to be a youth worker. The only reason I became a youth worker, to be honest, is I lost the job in retail. And it was this whole thing, remembering how I am when I do retail. At the time, people would come in and I could see in their faces and hear in their voice, which makes me go, oh, I'm actually empathizing with the human here that is actually
Wow.
upset with their life, they just want to buy something to make them feel happy.
That's
so I was like, do you really need these sneakers? Like, do you really need this whole outfit? Like, do you just want to sit down? Do you want to just have fun and try everything on and talk to me? And they were like, really? You don't mind? I'm like, nah, man, because you're going to bring it back anyway and return it. I'd rather you have fun and see if you like it. And then when you really got the money, come back and get what you want.
I feel
You know,
I
like,
was terrible
call
at
me, I'll
retail
save
too.
it for you, whatever. So they were like, okay. And then they would come back a month later and then buy everything because I didn't sell them. I didn't upsell them.
And
I
you
didn't
weren't
sell
pressuring.
them. No. So it was like, oh, my path is this. So I was like, the reason why I am the way I am too is because I was adopted. So I know some people may have heard it on several different other interviews, but I'm very proud to be adopted. You know, I have parents that couldn't have children and they adopted me from Indonesia at 4 months old. And it was this whole thing of, wow, like I've been given a chance. So why not be grateful every day of my life? And then whatever I do is bigger than hip hop. If I, like I said before, if I didn't have hip hop, I wouldn't be here. So my thing is, if I am hip hop and I build with other tribes that are hip hop and align with me, let's go. Let's get these young people to acknowledge what hip hop is. So the whole foundations of acknowledging, like when I say we, El Fresh and I still work together. So El Fresh the Lion and I still work together when it comes to like work programs.
Okay.
So we had a wonderful program that luckily Zig Parker was a part of. He was doing the film. We worked with amazing young adults from 25 to 32 years of age at Tootie Arts in Adelaide. And they happen to all have a form of disability. And not one disability was a part of this program because they ate it up. We gave them a project that they were going to learn how number one, they learned the elements of hip hop. So before we even start anything, we go into the foundation. We go history. And then they repeat it. And then we go into, okay, where are you from and what's your story?
Right.
So then again, it comes from authenticity. It comes from them. Then we help them learn about what rhyming words are or cadences and bars. And Maxine, they wrote a song on their own. They recorded the song in a very well-established recording studio.
Wow.
And they filmed a music video.
Unbelievable.
And these are amazing talents already. So Tootie Arts is an amazing charitable foundation that basically assists talented actor, artists, singers, writers, actual painting, drawing artists that just happen to be with disabilities.
God, that just listening to you talking about that experience, and of course working with, I mean, Elle is just, he's next level. Of course, Zig is you know, he's a visionary as well. So the three of you working on that project, I mean, that's just a tip of the iceberg with some of the things that you've been involved with. I am really excited to explore this next phase for you, right? Because I know before we sort of pressed record, we were talking about where we are now within our hip journeys, and our paths have taken a bit of a different turn. But you're still entertaining, and you're still you know, working with youth, and you're still giving and receiving that sort of energy, but in a circus format. I mean, is this, in my mind, like almost a hip hop Cirque du Soleil type of vibe, or is that
that's beautiful.
Taking it.
I love that. I mean, I'm honored that you think of it that way. I mean, respectfully, I mean, I know Cirque du Soleil is like the epitome of all circuses, you know what I mean? So that's very humbly, I'll take it. But
Are you
you
twirling and
know,
stuff in the air or?
no, I'm not. I think respectfully, what I would love to do to just kind of take that away, because Cirque du Soleil is such a grand
Yes,
thing
it's
of
epic.
all, you know. But the thing that I love about the uniqueness of the 360 All Stars is it's not necessarily about your talents, it's about your energy.
Yeah.
So we have only 7 casts.
Wow.
Each one of us provides our own talent, our own energy, you know, and energy is like from personality to their passion to what they've been training to do for either 10 to 20 plus years. You know, you have NICA students that are a part of this. You know, you have, yeah, like it's a whole nother level of world. Like you have a gentleman that's from Indonesia, but he is a BMX flatlander. And you know, I remember doing somewhat little tricks on my little BMX type thing, or being proud I could go down the stairs on my BMX. But no, this guy is like spinning and you know, things that I would fall off straight away and maybe injure myself, or like going around the world. So when it comes to actually why is it called the 360, it's because the different facets, like everything of different forms of rotation.
Oh, I like that. I
You
like
know what I'm
that.
saying? So it's
And how long does the
you
show
know,
go
there's
for that
1
everybody?
hour,
Wow.
1 hour.
So
Yeah,
high impact, full energy, music, everything. Oh man,
everything.
kids would love
It's
that too, man. Kids would love. Are
kids.
you touring with this
It's
in terms of out of Adelaide? Are you touring
Yes,
Australia?
yes. But this is my second year with Adelaide Fringe, and there's this moment where artists um, congregate together on a Sunday night, and it's the artist bar. And it's so wonderful because, oh, Maxine, like, you know, we talk about the hip hop industry and vibe, and not to take it away, but, you know, you kind of like, it's a braggadocious, boastful, or kind of you have to have your steez on
Yeah,
point. If you don't have an energy on point,
right.
you know. So it's like, you know, it's all like, yeah, you know, like I'm gonna show you my glitz and the glamour and everything. But now from there, you know, that's only one part of, mind you, who is ever listening. But it's when you go to a circus vibe, it's literally carnival. Like you have humans from all different shapes and sizes, from all different, like from, you know, LGBTQ or just different pronouns, to just humans that, like, it's as if you landed, like, to me, for me in my fantasy world, is if I would landed in Star Wars and the Muppets and Sesame Street in
Wow.
one. Is my dream. I'm like surrounded by all these different
Yeah, yeah,
plethora of bouncy energies, and you can just stand next to someone and go, "Hi,
yeah.
I'm Mirrah," and they'll go, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "You're like me." Like I feel like I'm, you know, I
Yeah,
feel like I'm a 5-year-old in a sand pit. Like
that's
I'm
so
finally in a tribe where I don't feel shy that I'm in a sand pit, and then someone enters it and I can just go, "Hi, how are you? My
yeah,
name's Mirrah. What do
yeah.
you like to do? Do you like camping? Do you like fishing? Do you like doing what you do? Tell me what you do."
Yeah,
You know, and it's like,
yeah,
whereas I've been the same person sometimes in this industry, and people will look at me like, "She's weird.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
She's very different.
yeah,
She doesn't, I don't know why I'm putting this accent on.
yeah. No,
I feel
I
bad.
feel you
Well,
though.
I
No,
think
I feel you.
I'm just taking on the superficial vibe of when people unfortunately might be uncomfortable with
Yeah,
themselves. So they need to act upper, and they class you as uniqueness is weird.
yeah,
Uniqueness is,
yeah,
she's
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit off.
It
She's a
makes
bit
them
too
feel
normal.
uncomfortable.
She's a she's a bit normal. This
Yeah.
one.
So you're
Like, you know,
you're in a
I,
reciprocal environment now, and this is
I'm
your,
in total dork
yeah,
geek vibe
yeah.
of talent, and
You've
it's
arrived.
so, yeah. And I feel so accepted, and I get to learn from, like, these are people that perform Cats, um, musicals,
Wow.
like Harry Potter, um, Cirque du Soleil,
So dope. They're open. They're
like,
open creatively, and that's yeah.
and they've been doing, you know, from cheerleading to acrobatic to like every different thing you can think of, like athletes that, you know, oh yeah, I've been to, yeah, we were in the Olympics. And
So
what?
dope.
You
So
know,
dope.
like, yeah, I had the acrobatic, and, you know, I'm just like,
So when are you coming to
wow.
Sydney so we can see you? Like
So
how,
we
how is
are
it
in
working?
Sydney. So the beautiful thing is that we're in Adelaide Fringe at present, and we're going to Darwin,
Oh
which we're
wow.
really excited about.
That's
And then Griffith, down to Wagga Wagga,
nice.
to Canberra, to then New South Wales, Sydney, Parramatta, Riverside. We're
Oh,
performing from the 11th, I believe, to the 16th or something like that. But basically in Sydney from the 11th to the 19th or the 23rd. But we're doing Parramatta, Chatswood, and Glenwood.
Glenwood, yeah, that sounds right. And is this in May,
Yes,
April, May? What's the
April.
April? So dope. Oh,
April,
I
yeah,
have to bring my
April.
boys. I
So,
have to bring them to
oh
come
my
and
gosh,
see
they
you.
would be like their
Miles's
minds is like,
eyeballs pop out of his.
yeah, yeah. And it's one of those things that I just love when I see parents, because parents will be like, I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, guys. Like, wow. And I'm like, I'm glad that you did.
yeah.
Because I bet you thought you're going to be falling asleep, or you're going to be like, okay, I got to deal with these songs. They're going to be in
Yeah.
my head all for the rest
Don't
of
do
the day.
circus, don't do clowns, but this one sounds
And
like
it's
a
like,
circus I can get into.
yeah, yeah. And the funny thing about the clowns is we're our own clowns just
Yeah,
because of our personality.
yeah.
There's great collaboration. So you basically get introduced to what everyone does on their own merit.
I like that.
And then we
The
collab.
accountability thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
so
it
dope.
allows people to go, oh, like you're introduced. And it's beautiful because Gene Peterson, who's he's like creator, producer, and director. He's that person that kind of like knows everyone's
Mm,
strengths and wants to pull out the best. But then he'll be like, hey, can you add this element? And
yeah,
you know, we'll try it and see how it goes. So,
yeah.
you know, and we've got beautiful surprises in it. We've got things that people go,
That's
oh my gosh, like, you know, and we're
I'm
a
so
team as
glad.
well that hang out all the time together. So
Yeah, so
like
there's
I'm learning,
that feeling of even though after the show we're still a team. And
yeah, and we're all learning. Like we want to learn. Like some of the b-boys are like, no, I want to learn the CYRL, and it's pronounced Cyril,
mm,
like a Cyril. Yeah, and it was actually because the gentleman, his name was Steer.
wow.
But yeah, so it's the big hula hoop, metal hula hoop, and
Oh
this
wow.
guy just penny drops, and it's
Oh
like,
man, I
oh
love
my
that.
God, it's so much acrobatic. So that's the acrobatic
Yeah,
rotation.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's the impact of it. It just allows young people to remember to be outside
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
as
Off
well,
the screen,
because you have,
outside. That's it. I love it.
yes,
And I love having my boys, actively involved in things like that visually, and then it sort of stimulates that brain. Let's get outside, let's do this, let's do that. I like that. Anything
yeah.
away from screen time is always a good time for me.
And you meet up with really amazing other women in the industry. So it's like I'll meet other, like at the other party, like I met another artist that actually plays drums and sings. And we had a really interesting conversation because there's a rap in it. So we're having this deep conversation about how how she should rap it, or, so I gave her some hints, about characteristic vibes and acknowledging the importance and also the history of hip hop. So you don't become a culture vulture,
Yeah.
like
Man.
acknowledging that stuff. And we had such a dope conversation in the union. Then the other female, she's a looper, I know, keyboardist.
Wow.
So she was just, so when she saw the show and she was the one that found me, she's like, yeah. She's like, I saw the show. I saw what you do. I see what you do. And then it's like someone to see that of me, like coming from the past, what we just spoke about. And I'm sure everybody does. It's that whole thing of acknowledging, where does hip hop take you? Hip hop is not just this one genre. It's not a one genre. It moves all the way. Like it's this, it's like we're an alien sitting on this ship, and we're just like, oh, let's stop here for a second and visit these aliens. Let me see what I can learn from them and what I can share, and then move on to my spaceship and go. But the mothership is hip hop. You know what I mean?
When you think
of epic.
When you think of the different layers of it, I mean, listening to you, just seeing this excitement and this energy and this exuberance, and you've always displayed that no matter what it is you're doing, but there's a lightness to it now, right? It's not, because we're so used to the unfortunately the pressure of performing and delivering and being the work hounds that we are, and having the work ethics that we have, especially as women in this industry, we have to go tenfold, right? But what you said is so true. Where has hip hop taken us? You're doing this incredible project right now, touring the country, making people smile and learning all these other different feats. And I look at my own journey. I'm in hip hop education. Like, I would never have thought.
Yes,
I'm sitting there teaching kids how to podcast and, rap in order to understand and to build on their literacy. And that's hip hop, right? And it's a pretty special thing to be a part of this.
And I think that's what's beautiful is you get it, and you're educating the curriculum, you're educating the educational side of things. And that just shows how big, we have professors now that, like you got Jizza, you got, Jay Rawls, you have Teacher. Like we have profound professors in the industry that are, it's like it's bigger than hip hop now. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have all of us that are educators and facilitators, so the next generation acknowledge how to use their voice, how to use their how to be a movement, like an advocate even for themselves, not necessarily for a particular thing, but just like if it's one of those things that when I find someone that may have an active mind, may and some of it called ADHD or ADD, but it's like, even if you don't even have any of them, you just have an active mind and you can't position yourself to understand the subject. But when you put it in a song, or you learn to teach them to write it in a rap, or you make them see something visual, all of a sudden click. They're like, oh, is that what school's been trying to teach me?
Thank you.
And I'm like, and I wish I had that. So my contribution, as luckily all of my tribe, such as yourself, all of us are remembering who we were at school. So when we see someone that reflects us, I go straight to, I'm like, hey, what's that? Like, what you need? I don't understand this. Okay, visually see it this way, do this way. Do you know how, like, you know what a song is? And they're like, yes. I'm like, you know what a verse is? And like, yes. I'm like, okay, when you write an essay, that's a verse. Now the chorus is the actual subject matter. You're always going to go back and refer to the main context of the subject. And they sit there like, wait, what? Oh, is that it? I'm like, yes. And then they'll go, oh. And then when I see them again down the line, like, whatever, they'll be like, and it's funny because I'm trying to teach them, obviously respectfully, because of the curriculum. You know, everyone, you're taught to call someone Miss or Madam, right?
Yeah.
It depends what country, but with me, I'm like, don't call me none of that. Like, I'm Mirrah. Please don't. Like, I feel weird. Like, don't do that, because I like my name, and just call me. So it's so funny you hear this, Miss Mirrah. Sorry, Mirrah. Miss. I mean Mirrah. And
It
they'll
is the
run up with
cutest thing.
excitement, going, I got a B plus. I've
Oh, that's
never
what's
had a
up.
B plus or an A, you know. And I'm
It
like,
is.
yeah.
It's the best feeling. It really, really is. And I think that's when you can sit there and go, yet another tick for hip hop, for the art of hip hop. Right? It's just, yeah, it's I love hearing things like that, because it just, there's that whole community again, and we're all off in our little pockets doing our thing for the greater good. And just, yeah, just, it's just good people doing good things, man. Like, at the end of the day, and you've always been about that. You've always been about it, regardless of where you've been. It's always been that integrity and making sure others are taken care of through your delivery. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
I got so excited, I made myself cough.
do you need some water?
I might. I'm trying to take care of myself right now. Self-care.
And it's not like you can press like mute on Zoom, because it's just you and I.
I don't. I'm cool. I'm fine.
Well, listen,
Keep it real.
you and I,
keep it authentic.
We can talk for hours, and we certainly will, because I do want to catch up with you again. I think
Definitely.
maybe when the tour is kind of coming towards that sort of the end, and I want to check back in.
And you can even film some stuff, and you can put it on there.
Oh
if you
man,
want.
I can't wait till you guys come to Sydney. I'm so excited to see it. But I know that, you know, you're gonna be meeting other people. You're gonna be really kind of reaching in and changing other lives. And I just want to touch back with you towards the end of it to see how.
And that's the beauty about it, is that we do this now. Obviously, I'm more older and mature and get it. But when you start hip hop, it's an ego thing, right? You're making sure that you can claim your position, that you gotta, you gotta claim your name, you gotta show that you're worthy, and show that, like, look, I'm good. And then you meet people in person, and then it's like, do they want to ride with you? Do they feel you? Do they vibe your energy? There's this whole clout thing, blah blah blah. But then when you get a certain age, you realize, when I didn't have a position such as this, and now have a foundation, and you go, hey, my purpose is a whole different purpose now. It's far from, like, there's a healthy ego, and there's the egotistical. And I always say, you got to make sure you care in a healthy form of ego, so then it allows you to move forward, to believe in yourself, but also allow others to drive and be inspired, or aspire to be like, I can see myself doing that.
That's right.
And when you see the next generation of any, but mainly my females, it's just so wonderful to see their eyes light up. Can I tell you one story that I'm so humbled, and it's just so cute. So the mother said to me, she said, my daughter came up to me and she goes, you're her new idol. And I'm like, when you hear idol, that's like, whoa, that's a big word, you know what I mean? So I was like, whoa. So I kind of like, I'm learning about humility, but I'm also learning to take the compliment and not changing it. Because if someone is actually seeing you as an idol, I'll be like, you know what? I got to accept that.
Yeah.
Like, usually I would have changed it, like, oh, you're an idol too, or, trying to make it complimentary, blah, blah. But now, as a mature adult, I'm learning to take that. So I said to her, I was like, well, I really appreciate it. You find that you can look up at me, but guess what? In 5 years, you're going to be my height. So just like, we'll be eye to eye idols together. So, all right. She started laughing because she's like 7 or something. But she goes, after I hugged her and gave her a fist pound and, everything, she was like, Mommy, take me to the hospital. And she goes, why? She goes, my heart stopped because I
Oh,
met my idol. And mom told me, and I went, like,
oh no, that
that was
is
the most
so amazing.
adorable. And you know what was beautiful even more? She was a beautiful brown young girl, happened to be Indian.
Oh,
And she just looked at me and goes, I finally see who I am.
oh,
And I was like,
that's like a mic drop moment.
like,
My work here is done. Oh wow.
my
That
God,
is
like,
really special.
yeah. But then I have other girls of all different races that will say the
Yeah.
same thing. But it, and that means 1,000 to me as well. But it's when you see someone we didn't have as a kid.
Oh man, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we had Naomi Campbell. Like we were excited when Naomi Campbell came. We were like, we're claiming her. We are claiming her. You know what I mean? Like I'm so gonna her and Jodie Watley. It was like, let's
Yo,
go. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be Jodie Watley and Naomi Campbell in one. Oh, it's
that's
happening. Like you know, I was like, oh yeah. Like, but for now it's like this all of a sudden you have these gorgeous young girls that will just be like,
that is just
and
beautiful.
then the young
Yeah.
boys that come up to me and go, I've never seen that before. And thank you so much. And I always have that conversation with them politely. Like, you see a woman in lead, you see a woman as the boss. You see as a now you understand how you have to protect your baby sister.
Yeah.
So you gotta make sure you involve yourself in her life to keep
Yeah.
keeping her going and everything. And I say, can you do that for yourself and for your sister? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, give me a fifth pound. And you have these conversations to allow them to now think that way.
Yeah.
Like, set the
Absolutely.
motor. I'm giving you the keys. Turn the motor on. Let's
See,
go. Be that generation that you can break so many things from us,
that's it.
and start afresh. So, yeah, that's why I love this performance, these
Well, you
things.
are
Like, it,
you are
thank you.
walking your purpose. You are wearing that cape of fabulosity, and you're shining, man. And it's just it's always so good to see. But like I said, you shine through everything you do. But this
Thank
is a
you.
different light coming here, and
Mm,
I can't wait to see you in this element and doing what you're doing and how you've described it. Where can we tell people watching where they can go and see you, I guess, when you
sure.
tour? Where can we get tickets? How does that work?
Yeah, we'll just go in Google search and press actually the numbers
Hmm.
360. So 360 All Stars.
360.
And just put whatever city you're in and it will come up. Yeah, but we have so many international. We're doing America next year, so that's really
So
exciting.
you'll be going on tour.
So yeah,
Oh man, I'm
we're
so
putting. How's this? How's this? I'm manifesting because it is said,
yeah.
but we are supposedly doing 42nd Street. I'm doing Broadway, yo.
You've arrived. That's
Hip hop
amazing.
on Broadway. Hip hop.
Gonna be coughing.
Again, I'm so excited. If you people don't know me, I get really excited easily, and I'm like,
That's so
no,
dope.
it's like,
Oh man.
yeah. So this family is taking many all different
Oh,
people for these trips, and then you have those that are in Edinburgh. We have the UK cast
yeah.
that does Edinburgh Fringe. So make sure you go and see them. It's phenomenal, and there's so many other. We have a world filled of so many countries, and unfortunately, on the real, we have a lot of scenarios that need entertainment at
Hmm.
present because of worldly
Yeah.
terrors that are going on. So
The state
there's,
of the world needs
entertainment.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Humbly, entertainment is like the pinnacle
Yeah.
of allowing people to get self-care because it allows you to be happy, not necessarily forget, but allowing them to just escape a moment to enjoy endorphins. And that's why it's so important that the arts is supported. So please support the arts.
Yes.
If you got to vote correctly. So it supports the arts.
I like that little segue in there. You better click the right people. Thank you very much.
Click the right people.
We are not.
Thank you, Queen.
We're not. Listen, it's always such a pleasure to talk to you and just hear your incredible journey and share the stories. And we'll be there screaming for you if we can scream.
Oh yeah, no, you're supposed to be loud. We have to tell people, like a typical hip hop thing. We're like, "Where you at?"
Oh man, I love it.
Are you?
Listen, I can't wait to see you in your element because I know that you are. And it's
I am totally in my geek form of all forms. It's like I have this little cape on with my little inner superhero. But it's not like Super Grover. Like I feel like I'm Super Grover, but then it just presses on and I actually do fly, because you know how Super Grover doesn't fly because someone's always standing on his cape as a hater. Like
there's no haters allowed.
Excuse me, you're on my cape. Like, oh, sorry. I'm actually going like this and soaring. It's like, yeah.
Oh, that's so dope. I can't wait. Can't wait to see you. Love talking to you. Thank you for just always sharing love and light. You're amazing.
So you.
Talk again soon.
Thank you for sharing our stories. Love you.
Love you. Happy
ladies,
anniversary for hip hop.
50-year anniversary.
And can't wait to see you in it's Burn Gently. Is it that? Is that that's the documentary?
Burn Gently. Don't forget about that.
Burn Gently is being released on the 30th of March. So
I want to watch myself because I talk a lot. I got a lot to say. So it'd be interesting to hear myself.
Yeah, no. Even just the trailer was really dope. So I can't wait to see you on the big screen and go. I know her.
Can you take photos? Actually, my mom's coming.
Oh wow!
You just frozen. My mom is coming. Oh no!
No, there I can see you. I think I can see you. Are you there? I think that's it. I've lost you. No, we can't. Did it? Where is it?
To the back, so we on the track, no distract. I got the beat on the wax, and my beat on the set on the beat, so relax. While I wax over the top, to the track, pinnacle of the past, pinnacle that. So we're just gonna get back, like that.